Whoa! Okay, so they don't actually give you grain and starting resources other than fish, meat, and eggs anymore. Hello there, I'm DragonLoon, and welcome back to another episode of Songs of Six. Now, I'm keeping this as part of Season 2, even though we are now in version 55, which has a bunch of updates, and unfortunately completely breaks all of the saves. So, we get to start a new city. So, let's go ahead and get on in here. We'll go play, and if we try and load, you can see we have nothing. Unfortunate. However, that's fine. So, we'll go random game, and we'll keep with a huge map. Now, one of the updates that the developer did in this version is the latitude actually affects what crops and creatures you can make in your kingdoms. So, I think we're going to keep with the southern, and we're going to try that again. Or we're going to try southern this time, I should say. We're going to keep with the starting race of the Cretonians, simply because they they love farming, which is our first way of getting people into our city. Population, I'm assuming that's the population of the world map, so we're going to go some, and we're going to keep the raids on few, simply because, you know, we're still trying to build our city. So, the faction name, once again, is going to be Dragons. Yeah. And we're gonna keep with the red color, so let's go. All right, so, all right, sorry, I had to get my bearings here. All right, so if we hover over these things, you can see that we now have a list of rooms that are disabled, and it looks like we have some more pastures available. So that will be interesting. So we will need to find a place that mushrooms are actually available. And I think because we went with the southern latitudes, mushrooms are not going to be available. So we might have to restart this world. Yeah. It looks like mushrooms are not available. So this time we are going to stick with the normal latitudes, and we'll see how that goes. And everything else will stay the same. All right, so after looking around this map for a little bit, it looks like we might want to change to the northern latitude. So let's give that a try. All right, well, unfortunately, we really are not finding what we're looking for. So what we're gonna have to do, looks like we have our choice of not having mushrooms or not having cotton. And I think we're gonna go with not having cotton. All right, and we will choose this one right here. So we'll go in, and there we go. So now we have a bunch of new resources. Oh, no. It was highlighting wild edibles. So we still want the mineable resources, and we now have stone quarries that we have to worry about, which is going to be really interesting. Holy cow, that's a giant mountain in our way. But the Dendorians will like that. Ooh, are those cave systems? What? There's now cave systems? Interesting. So, looks like we have gems there, and what is that? I'm not sure what that is. That might be mineable stone? Or ore. That might be ore. Huh. This is definitely going to be a very interesting development. So, it looks like we got a decent amount of mineable area over here. So, we will start our settlement right there. All right. So, now that we've started this, what the? Temperature! Determined by climate, season, and chance. Extreme temperatures on either end cause your subjects to be exposed. Oh yeah, this is a new development that that he added in. So now we have to worry about temperature as well. That's going to be interesting. And we have these cantors. Cantors are essentially giants that are only for combat. And now that we're loaded in, let's look. This is rocks. Nice. And that's ore. Okay. And what's this? Stone. Huh. But there's no coal. Unfortunately, it looks like we don't have any coal available. So, some other stuff that they've added, that he's added in, is lighting, noise, awe, harmony, dread, and, you know, noise is now affects your population. So that's going to be a very interesting challenge to take care of. So, what we want to do, let's take a look at some of the other stuff. So he's changed the layout a little bit, it looks like. So under infrastructure, we now have everything. Warehouses, trade depots, janitors, monuments, torches. Ooh, hearth. Helps keep your subjects warm in cold weather. Has no workers, but are managed by odd jobbers and janitors. So that's going to be interesting. Extraction, so that's now our harvesters. Agriculture is now under everything. Ooh, and I was right. We now have some more pastures. We now have the aurochs and the antelodonts, not sure. But they produce meat. And the aurochs produce meat and plentiful pelts. So that will be good for clothing. That's interesting. Okay. And then under industry, we now have a bakery as part of the base game. I say as part of the base game because it used to be a mod that could be added. So we now have a bakery. We have, looks like a paper maker, which will be needed for the libraries. That's going to be interesting. But the rest of that is normal. Under food, we still have the tavern, the kitchen, and the feast hall. Still have training under the military. Still have knowledge under library, and under services, we have everything else. All right, so we need to get started. Now, as you can see under here, we no longer have our cotton for fabrics, which is going to be really interesting because we need that for the kitchen. Ooh, we're going to have to start trading early. That is definitely going to be interesting. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to lay down some grain farms. Now, ordinarily, I would start right up against the throne room, but I think we're gonna do a little bit different this time. Let's go into planning mode. And we're going to build some dirt roads. We're gonna do the same thing that we usually do for this, so 6 wide. But we're gonna come all the way out here to the mountainside with it. Because we... Oh, let's take a look at like the coal mine. So the coal mine is now a room that we have to put in auxiliaries and storage. That's going to be an interesting challenge too. Huh. Interesting. But where is coal? Yeah, that's all stone, but we don't have any coal. Huh. So we can't build a coal mine, which we need to make metal. Oh, there's coal. Way down there. Okay. All right. Sorry. Back to what I was talking about. What we are going to do is we are going to take our grain farms. And we're still in planning mode. So we're going to lay these out and we're going to do a 30 by 40. That's what we're going to plan. We're not going to actually build that right away. We're planning that so that we know where to lay our roads. All right. So that's going to be one farm. And we'll do the mushroom farm here, like that. Now let's remove those and we'll put those back in as small 8x8s. Now we'll go ahead and put in an Arlock pasture, but we're gonna make this one a small one, just like always. I wonder what you need to put them in there, but that only holds 2. I don't like that, so we're going to expand it out like that. Okay, we'll try that. And keep adding in roadways. Now, what we want to do is we want to put in our warehouse. And we're gonna have the warehouse like that. And we'll put a door there, a door there, and we'll go ahead and throw a door right there. All right. So, now we need to activate these jobs here. And turn on the speed a little bit. Whoa! Okay, so they don't actually give you grain and starting resources other than fish, meat, and eggs anymore. Wow, okay. Oh, and bread. So, we need to find wild fruit, okay. Wild grains, there's grains. Wild mushrooms, okay. So now we need to harvest the mushrooms and the grain. And I'm still in planning mode. All right, so we need them to do that so that they can start building the farms. Oh, wow, that is insane. But now that we have some eggs, let's also turn on the... Oh, that was cool. You can turn on jobs by, or at least that one, by clicking on it. Oh. Does that work? Yep, they're starting to work on that. Okay, so now... Oh, and there's isolation. Wow, there is so much that you need to worry about now. This is crazy. All right. So now that we got the Auroch pasture, some mushrooms, and a grain farm, we definitely need storage. So let's have them start building this. Now that we have a small amount of food production. All right, so now that we have our giant storage room built, let's go ahead and put in our... Wait. Built on mines? Mines... Extract minerals from the ground. Its efficiency is determined by the density of the minerals along with the auxiliary... What? That's a new resource. All right, anyway, back to what I was saying. Warehouse. Okay. So we'll put it in the warehouse and do our standard. That's right. They added in where now you have to do pillars. Where do you build pillars? Maybe that's what pillars are? By adding in roofing sections? Or walls, I should say. So let's see what that does. Okay. Aha! So that's what it is. So the roof can extend out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from a wall. All right, so this is gonna make things kind of interesting. So give me a second. I've got to do some math and some redesigning, and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got what we need. Yeah, interesting. But as you can see, there's 2 tiles here and 2 tiles here that are still yellow. That just simply means that we have a little bit extra expense because now they have to use extra material to build and maintain it, which isn't that big of a deal. So let's add in our crates. Just like that. And build it. All right, so we are running into a small problem. We need stone to build this, but we're all out of stone. However, we can clear resources, and we should be able to, yep, we can harvest this stone lying on the ground, the rocks, which is only harvestable by clearing. Oh, right. So we now have our warehouse built, and the developer has added in something new. So now when you mouse over a warehouse, you can see the range, or at least in this, you can see the range in which that warehouse will gather resources on its own. So that's really helpful. I like that feature. All right, so back to what we were doing. Here is another suggestion that was actually suggested by me in one of my live streams, and that was to increase the size of these plus minus buttons on top of using these sliders for the percentages. I love this. The developers is listening to suggestions. Oh, and you can increase the radius. Set the work radius of this room. Subjects will look for work within the radius. A big radius can be ineffective, and workers will have a hard time getting back to services when work is done. That's cool. So let's throw 10 employees in here, and then we are going to put 10 crates for each resource. Or each food, I should say. And that's 3% of our crates. So we're going to do 19% for stone and wood. And we're also going to want to put some eggs and some ore. Definitely some pelts. What's this? Paper, okay. Livestock, really? Well, we'll throw some crates in for livestock then. And we'll put some resources, crates in for furniture, and then we will bump this up to... All right, so now we got some things allocated. And we got some employees, so let's turn the speed back on. Now my question is, how do we get animals for our auroch pasture? Because we have 0 animals. I am betting that that will come from a hunter's room. Hunters will sneak out into the wilderness, stalk and kill prey to bring back and butcher for meat and resources. We probably used up all our eggs, and that's why we don't have any aurochs left. Maybe? Probably. So, let's build a hunter. And we'll build the hunter out here. All right, we'll do... Can we get away with an auxiliary station? Yes, we can. Okay, now we need some doors. So that is not where I want it. All right, we'll put some doors there, and we'll put a door there. Have them build that. All right, folks. So I've run into a slight problem. I had a pretty decent population size. Thought I had enough population to run everything, but then they all started dying. So I've had to slowly build things back up by concentrating on farming, to the point where I also added a vegetable farm. So next year, next game year, we will have vegetables. Unfortunately, the grain farm is not actually producing any food because we need a bakery in order to produce that. So what we are going to do is we are going to suspend the Hunter's Lodge, and instead we are going to make a bakery. Just a small one. So we're going to start off by going in planning mode, and we are going to go out here 20, and we're going to go up to here like that, and we'll cut it off right there. Then we'll put a doorway right there and a doorway right there, and we will call that good and have them build it. And in the meantime, we're gonna lay out some more roadways. All right, so now that that room is done, we can put in a bakery. And all right, so far so good. We don't need any metal. What if we put in auxiliary ovens? That's where we need metal. What about regular ovens? We need metal for regular ovens too. All right, so we can't do the bakery. That's unfortunate, but let's go ahead and turn the Hunter's Lodge back on. And in the meantime, we'll go ahead and deactivate the grain field. But what we can build is, well, first we need to harvest some wild fruit, and then we are going to make a fruit farm because we're a bunch of fruits. Yay! There we go. All right. Oh, wow, the hunters can gather cotton too? That's cool. Huh, interesting. All right. So let's see what kind of radius these guys have. Well, pretty nice radius. Unfortunately, they're not getting any cantors. Stag beasts. Those are stag beasts. Unks. Interesting. No, I had seen the cantors somewhere. Huh. All right. So, now that we've got that going. Oh, look, we have one animal in here. So now we should be able to slowly start breeding those, I'm guessing. All right. So, as I was saying, now that we're starting to get some things going, we need to build a mine for ore, and we also need a charcoaler, which I think takes metal. So let's see here. The roads, and we'll build some roads down like that, and then we'll put all of our industry over here. And to do that, we will start with a furniture maker right there. And instead of using this room for our baker, I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn that into a trade depot. All right, now that that building is done, we can go in and into our industry and go carpenter. All right, the trade depot is ready. So let's allocate 10. I think that's 10. Furniture. And we'll also do 10 for grain because we'll turn the grain farm back on. And then we'll go in here and we will export when grain is above 89%. And export when grain is, or when furniture is above 50%. And while we're at it, let's build a delivery depot right there. So we'll delete those jobs and we'll put a few delivery depots in this area. Oh, and the carpenter's done, but we don't need that many workers in there right away. So we'll only do 8 workers. There we go. We still only have one animal here, but I'm not sure how to increase that. All right, so let's set that delivery depot for coal. Then we will need to import coal when stock is below 10%. There we go. Starting to get that stuff. Now we need to set up a mine, and we'll put the mine right there. Okay, folks, so mines have to be placed over deposits. That's gonna make things interesting. But now that we have this building over here that we really can't use, what we can put there, after I fix this blunder, would be a weaver. Which needs metal, even for the regular looms. So we will put in some auxiliary stuff. There we go, and we'll keep that deactivated. In the meantime, we'll export some meat and some wood so that we can get some cash flow going. And we will also go ahead and just expand out our wheat farm to the full 30 by 40. Whoopsie. And then we'll also set one of these delivery deposits for metal so that we can start getting in some metal, because we need that for the weavers and the bakers. Oh, and it looks like our mine is done, so we don't need 22 people there. Let's give them just 2 people. Ah, and there's the new heat maps for noise. So as long as we keep residential areas outside of this area, they'll be kind of happy. Aw, nothing, light, nothing, harmony, nothing, dread, nothing, that's good. And those are our new environmental maps. All right, so we are working on getting the weaver constructed. So I think the next thing we need to work on is going ahead and... Wow, we suddenly got a bunch of aurochs in. That's nice. Oh, that's right, because I got these livestock. So now we can turn off imports. All right, that's what I wanted to do. Turn off imports. Oops. So now what we want to do is we want to build a room for our smelter, and we'll go ahead and start working on a room for a charcoal or two. No, we'll turn that into the bakery and we'll put the charcoal somewhere else. All right, so if we want to get in more Dendorians, we need to improve our roads. So we'll turn them into stone roads. All right, so new plan. We are gonna build a dormitory, which means we are going to need to construct it. We can't construct it right there. All right, pause the speed. All right, so as I was saying, we are going to construct it right there. All right, so I am working on building a dormitory with a coziness surprisingly of 100%, and hopefully that will allow us to bring in some more people so that we can start getting our industries going, which is a challenge to bring in people with the way the game is currently set up. However, that will have to be for next time. For now, if you enjoyed this content, as well as the new update to this game, make sure to smash that like button. Really does help with the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of this really, really awesome content. Until next time, stay frosty out there.